couple of my favorite books to you, and I think you'll enjoy them as much as I do. The first one is called The Golden Egg Book. This is written by Margaret Wise Brown. She's the author, and the author is the person who writes the story. And the illustrator is the one who draws or paints the pictures, and that person's name is Leonard Weisgard. So they work together on this book. I love the illustrations. Remember what I told you the illustrations are? The illustrations are the pictures. The Golden Egg Book. Once there was a little bunny. He was all alone. One day he found an egg. He could hear something moving inside that egg. What was it? Maybe it was a little boy. Do little boys grow inside of eggs? I don't think so, but the bunny isn't sure. Maybe another bunny. Do bunnies grow inside of eggs? I don't think so. Maybe an elephant. What do you think about that? Or maybe a mouse. Who could tell what he would find? And how would a little bunny know? But there was something inside that egg. He could hear something moving. So he shook it. And then the bunny pushed the egg with his little foot. But he was such a little bunny that it really didn't go anywhere. And he jumped on top of the egg. But still he was so tiny, it didn't matter. It didn't go anywhere. He climbed a tree and threw nuts at it. But since he was a very little bunny, it didn't crack the egg. He rolled the egg down a hill, but it still didn't break. And whatever was in that egg didn't come out. So the bunny threw a rock at the egg. But because he was only a very little bunny, it was a very little rock, and he didn't throw it very hard. So the egg didn't break. It didn't even crack. And all of a sudden, pick, pick, pick. Something was trying to get out of that egg. The bunny sat very still, and he watched through his shining eyes. He sat very still and listened with his big, soft ears. Pick, pick, pick. I wonder what's inside. Then the little bunny began to yawn. And he yawned. And he yawned. His biggest yawn. And the egg was very quiet. He curled up all sleepy and warm close to the egg and went to sleep. He went to sleep because he was so sleepy. And then, pick, 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 and peck, 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 and crackety-crack, out jumped a little yellow duck.
Well, what is this?
Said the little duck when he saw the bunny.
What could this little fur thing be?
The bunny was very sleepy, so he was still asleep and he didn't wake up.
Inside the egg,
Said the duck.
I thought I was all alone in a small dark world. And now I find myself alone with a bunny in a big bright world, and that bunny won't even wake up.
So the duck pushed the bunny with his foot. But he was a very little duck, so the bunny didn't feel it. And he jumped on top of him. Does this sound like some of the things that the bunny did to the egg? To me it does. And he threw a little rock at him. But because he was a very little duck, and it was a very little rock, the bunny didn't even feel it. And then he rolled him down the hill. You think he's going to notice then? I think so. And then the bunny woke up. Where is said the bunny. "And where did you come from?"
"Never mind that," said the duck. "Here I am."
So the bunny and the duck were friends, and no one was ever alone again. The end. Isn't that a sweet book? Sure. And I liked how the bunny and the duck did the same things to each other, don't you? Now, to go along with that book, there's another book called Chickens Aren't the Only Ones. And this is by Ruth Heller. And she writes a lot of books about nature. And she's the author and the illustrator of the book. Remember, I told you the author writes the story. And the illustrator, do you remember? Makes the pictures. This is called Chickens Aren't the Only Ones. What do you think this one is going to be about? If you guessed eggs, you are right. Chickens lay the eggs you buy, maybe in the store. The eggs you boil or fry. Did you ever have eggs for breakfast? Or any other time? Eggs are good, right? Or dye. Have you ever colored eggs, like for Easter? Or leave alone so you can see what grows inside naturally. Now, not every single egg has something inside that's going to grow. Some of them are just for eating, but some of them are for growing animals, like chicks. Chickens aren't the only ones. Do you know what this is? This is a peacock, and they have beautiful feathers. Sometimes they just have them laying down in the back of them, and sometimes when they want to feel very, very proud, then they make their feathers go up and then they strut around, and they are gorgeous. Every bird, wild or tame, does the same. Now, I'm going to go back to here. Wild birds would be the birds that you see outside, whether they're growing outside in your house or somewhere else in the world. But birds that are tame would be the ones that you might see in a pet store, like canaries, sometimes even parrots. Sometimes parrots grow wild, and sometimes people have parrots in a cage. There's all different kinds of birds. There's a toucan, there's a flamingo, there's a penguin, lots and lots of different kinds of birds. What's this one? A turkey, right? And here's a goose, and here's a couple of ducks, and a beautiful swan. The ostrich lays eggs, the largest eggs. Here's the ostrich. Now, ostrich is a bird, but does it fly? No, because its body is so big, but it lays really big eggs, about the size of a cantaloupe, if you know what a cantaloupe is. And the hummingbird is the smallest little bird. It lays the smallest egg, smaller than the smallest little jelly beans that you can find around Easter time. Chickens aren't the only ones. Most snakes lay eggs, and lizards too. And crocodiles, did you know that? And turtles too. And dinosaurs, who are extinct, but they were reptiles too. Do you know what extinct means? It means that not really living anymore. We can't find it. How do we even know that they ever were on this earth? Because people find fossils, and they've actually found fossils of eggs, of the dinosaur nests and the eggs. Fossils are like the bones of the dinosaurs, and they're in the ground so long they turn to be rock. Frogs and toads and salamanders lay eggs, and when they hatch, they're tadpoles who grow legs and climb climb a lily pad, just like their mom and dad. Now a lily pad is this leaf part, and here's the beautiful flower, and they're in water. And here's the frog eggs. They're kind of like in a big, a big pile, and it's kind of like jelly-like. And when they hatch, they don't have legs. They look like little fish. And eventually they grow front legs, and they grow back legs, and they lose their tail, and then end up growing and looking like their mom or their dad. They don't have claws or scaly skins. They're called amphibians. So those are the frogs and the salamanders and the toads. Now you know frogs are in water, right? And toads are usually on the ground. Fish eggs float up to the surface. Now the surface is the very, very top of the water that you see when you look at it. Or some of them sink all the way to the bottom of the ocean floor. Look at all these beautiful, beautiful fish. There's so many. The mother seahorse lays her eggs into the father's pouch. Now a pouch is kind of like a pocket on his tummy, kind of like what a kangaroo would have, kind of like a little pocket on the front of them. And the mommy seahorse lays her eggs inside the daddy's pouch, and he keeps them there until they hatch, and then he's through. I think that's nice of him, don't you? These fathers, too, are helping out by guarding the eggs, protected by that funny mass that's floating by. Kind of looks like bubbles. And the eggs are underneath, and they're keeping watch so that, why would they keep watch? Right, so that other fish don't come and eat them. They don't leave until they're sure all their eggs have hatched. What does it mean when an egg hatches? It means it breaks open. These don't look like eggs to me, but they were laid in the sea. This one was laid by a shark. That doesn't look like any egg that I've ever seen. And this one was laid by a stingray, and it's called a mermaid's purse, they say. You know what a mermaid is? It's kind of half lady and half fish. And they imagine that that's what her purse or her pocketbook will look like. Now, this is amazing. The octopus is said to shed, that means he gives off 100,000 eggs. They hang them up in strings attached to the rocks or the caves. 100,000! I can't believe it. I would love to see that, wouldn't you? The moon snail's eggs are mixed with sand to form this collar-looking band. Aren't these interesting eggs? So not all eggs look the same. Spiders wrap their eggs in sacks. So if you ever see something like this outside, inside of there are hundreds of little spider eggs, and when this breaks open and they hatch, it's all little spiderlings. That's what they call the baby spiders. Isn't that cute name? Snails, you know, are very slow, but they lay eggs that hatch and grow. And so do insects. What are insects? All kinds of bugs, right? Insects who have 6 legs and lay many different kinds of eggs. Looks like there's butterflies, and there's beetles, and there's even a praying mantis, and a grasshopper, lots of different things. Flies, dragonflies, so many. Now, this one will hatch into a hungry caterpillar that will grow and grow and grow, and then climb up a stem and change into this. This is called a chrysalis. And he's very quiet inside there. And inside there, they change from one summer morning, and about 2 weeks later, they emerge as a beautiful butterfly. And these are actually yellow swallowtails, and we have these in our neighborhoods. Animals with fur or hair who nurse their young don't lay eggs. They're known as mammals. Now, if they nurse their young, that means that the babies get milk from their mommy, just like puppies get milk from their mommy and kittens. Now, these are two mammals that don't follow the rules. You know, there's always somebody who doesn't follow the rules. Well, these are two mammals that don't follow the rules. The spiny anteater and the duck-billed platypus. They do lay eggs and they are mammals. They both live in Australia. There are a lot of very different kind of animals that live in Australia, and these are two of the ones that are mammals that lay eggs. Chickens aren't the only ones. There's no more to discuss. Everyone who lays an egg is called oviparous. So if an animal lays eggs to have their babies, they're called oviparous animals. And there's so many. Remember the birds, remember the dinosaurs, and the frogs, and the bugs, or the insects. So many different kinds. The turtles, this seahorse, oh, so many different kinds of animals. Animals who don't lay eggs have babies born alive and well, but that's another tale to tell. And that's the end of this book. Chickens aren't the only ones. I hope you enjoyed these books. This one is one of my favorites, and you know this is fiction, which means that the bunnies can talk, and the ducks can talk, and anything can happen. And this is nonfiction, so this tells about really true things. Well, I hope you enjoyed learning about eggs today, and all the different kind of animals that lay them. And I hope you enjoyed this story time, and it's time for me to say goodbye. So goodbye from Mrs. Porpora. I hope you enjoyed this.